Hello, my name is Lee Gaylord, and I am the originator of the website The Injustice System. I am trying to expose the injustice in our so-called justice system. So here's what I'm trying to say. First of all, there are over 2,300,000 people in prison. Of those, probably 300,000 or more are innocent. Why do we have innocent people in prison? Well, these are poor people. These are people in many cases that have been framed by the police, railroaded by the prosecutors and the judges. We have corrupt judges, corrupt prosecutors, and corrupt policemen. The thing that bothers me about, we also, by the way, have corrupt lawyers defending these people. What happens is that, let's say, you're walking down the street and you're arrested by the police. The police say that you killed somebody. Say, no, I didn't. I wasn't even around at the time. So they take you in. Now, it could be that the main witness against you is the actual killer. But they figure that it's easier to convict you than it is to convict the actual killer. And they even get the help of the killer. Yeah, it's my feeling that it's easier to convict an innocent person than a guilty person. And what they're going to do is they're going to go to the person they can most easily convict. Now, you're poor. You don't have the money. Make things worse, if you're black or Hispanic or any other minority. Right now, the Arabs are the target of preference. So, you can't afford a lawyer, so they appoint a lawyer. Now, in many cases, the lawyer is not getting paid enough to really do the job. Some of them will actually tell you that up front. And many of them are incompetent. In fact, probably most of your public defenders are incompetent. The reason they're public defenders is because they can't find a job anywhere else. So, lies another problem. Also, the state is paying for the public defender. So, why should he work for you? Then, the police get some evidence together, and DNA may be taken, it may not be. If they do take the DNA, they say, well, it's inconclusive. Or they just flat out lie and say, well, either way they're lying. Or they say that your DNA is the DNA in the murder case, even though it isn't. So then they keep at you. They grill you and grill you. And that gets to the point where you'll say anything just so they'll quit. It's called torture. It's a form of torture. And a lot of times, in fact, most of the time with torture, a person will say anything just to get off. They'll say whatever you want them to say. The witnesses will say anything you want them to say because they usually get something out of the deal. In the case of the actual killer, he gets set free. In case of jailhouse snitches, they get set free. And so then, in most of these cases, a prosecutor knows, the lawyer for the defense knows, and a lot of times the judge knows. So, let's say you don't confess, you don't plead guilty, you don't accept the plea bargain. So you go to trial. Now your attorney doesn't like to go to trial because that takes time and it's really not that profitable for him. Or again, like I said, he's incompetent. So you go to trial and you have witnesses against you with fabricated stories, and your attorney, even though you say you were at work, you have witnesses saying you were at work, you have the time card saying you were at work. So, and even in some cases, you may have been out of town when it happened. But your attorney doesn't call the witnesses that will verify your story. Usually these trials are fast because the attorney for the defense does not call witnesses. He doesn't say, hey, what about the DNA? He doesn't really cross-examine the government's witnesses. In many cases, a judge will come right out and tell you, hey, you're going to get fried. But, so, and one day, you are convicted. The jury is only out for a few minutes. And then the next day, or two, or whenever, you come back for sentencing. Let's say you're in Texas. They love to execute people in Texas. Texas executes more people than any other state. And they're faster than the other states, too. A lot of states have the death penalty, but they don't really use it. Texas, they love to use it. So, you get the death penalty. So you're on death row and you're innocent, not knowing when you're going to be executed or even if you're going to be executed. Well, you have appeals. But you don't have a good lawyer. And many times a appeal is paperwork goes to the court and it's too late for the appeal.